Welcome back, Nintendo collectors. Alex here with another Nintendo arcade video, and in this video I want to talk about my beloved Sky Skipper. And it's been a long time since I've done a video on Sky Skipper, believe it or not. You've all seen the reveal videos, but you've probably never seen an in-depth game video, and that's what I'm about to do. But before I get into that, I want to talk about a little bit about the history and how I came about this game. Now, as you all know, I'm a big Nintendo fan, but really that only goes back to the Super Nintendo. And then there's a massive gap, and then I guess the very first Nintendo games I played were Donkey Kong, Sheriff and Space Firebird. All the other games like Junior, Hellfire, Radar Scope, never really played or had any connection with those games whatsoever. But when I acquired Donkey Kong Junior for the first time, which was probably about 8 years ago, I just had this fascination and interest about hunting down all these really early Nintendo arcade games, because to be honest with you guys, there wasn't a lot of information about these games out there on the internet. In fact, there were no videos on Space Fever or Sheriff. So I just took it upon myself to do a bit of research and find out a little bit more about their early history. And they're a fascinating company, they really are. They go back 100 years, as you know. They made cards and toys, and then after the 1971 oil crash, they really struggled as a company. In fact, they nearly went bankrupt. And I think it was only the arcade scene, the Duck Hunts, the Wild Gunmans, the Battle Sharks and the Skyhawks that got them out of that debt that they owed the banks at the time. Now, I've owned some of those early games. I've owned Battle Shark, believe it or not. I owned 2 at one stage. Incredible games, but not a lot of gameplay. Space Firebird, I own now. I've owned about 3 or 4 and restored 3 or 4. Space Fevers, I've owned a few. But these ones here I've kept. They're my favourite ones. But I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd own this game. Because this game was a real mystery, guys. It really was. There was no information in the internet about this game whatsoever. All there was a picture of the marquee, and that was it. The game was dumped into MAME. So I thought there must be a game or a collector out there that owns the arcade machine. But after some searching on all the forums, CLOV and UKVAC, didn't seem to be any collectors coming forward with the actual cabinet. So after a little bit more research, I found a guy actually in Sweden that claimed he had a TNX-01 board, which is the Sky Skipper board, which he claimed had been factory modded by Nintendo to play Popeye, and he was attempting to reverse engineer it back to Sky Skipper. And his blog was a few years old, so obviously he hadn't achieved that. And I approached him, I showed interest in the board, and he did offer it to me. But I thought, what's the point of owning this board if you can't play Sky Skipper on it? So I approached my good friend Mark, who does all my board repairs. I said, do you think you could do the job? Do you think you could reverse engineer it? And he said no, not without the schematics or not without another board so you could cross-reference to do the job. So I just put it on the back burner and forgot all about it, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until about 4 months later, me and a bunch of Motley Crew UK Vackers went up to a raid in Newcastle, and believe it or not, I found a Sky Skipper board all wrapped up. And again, it had been factory modified by Nintendo to play Popeye. So then I brought the Sky Skipper board from the Swedish guy, and then I presented both of them to Mark. I said, here you go, can you do it now? He said, okay, I'll take it on. He loves a challenge, does Mark. He took it on, and he done it in 3 months. He reverse engineered it. I think that was the last time I did a video. I uploaded a video of me playing the game in an old Popeye cabinet, and I showed the boards and in the back of the cabinet, and it was incredible. It was the first time really that anyone had seen Sky Skipper running, not on MAME but on an original board, which was incredible. But you know, in that video, it's funny when I look back at it now, you know, it all just seems like the story just come together perfectly. It really does, because I was looking for a guy to buy one of the boards. I didn't want to own 2 boards. I wanted another Nintendo collector to buy the other board. And I know John Jakeson came forward, but he had commitments at the time, family commitments, which was fair enough. And then it was only until Whitney Roberts showed interest, and I saw his Nintendo collection. I thought, this guy's the right guy. And sure enough, he was. We went on to make a great partnership in this project, and this is what's come out of it. This baby here. Now, me and Whitney's hard work, we managed to achieve what we originally set out to do, which was to recreate the cabinet that was never released. Because, guys, this game was an unreleased Nintendo game, and we know that because of all the information that Nintendo have given us. And I'll get into that in a bit. So with Whitney's contacts stateside, which I could never have had here in the UK, he's got some fantastic contacts because he does the Broken Token podcast. He knows loads of collectors in America, and the one guy that was of real interest was Billy Mitchell, because there was rumours that there was a Sky Skipper in the lobby at NOA going back years. And the only person that would know that would be Billy Mitchell, because he got invited into Nintendo of America way back in 1981 when he got the world record on Donkey Kong. So if anyone would know, it would be Billy Mitchell. So Whitney approached him and spoke about the game, and Billy Mitchell could not believe that we'd even mentioned this game, because he said he hasn't heard of that name in a long time. And he said, well, what have you got? He said, well, we've got 2 working boards. And he said, well, okay, well, let me do my best to help you out with this, guys, and get you any information I can, because I've got some contacts in Nintendo of America still. And he did. He got us in contact with Jerry Momoa, who was a play tester for Nintendo. He tested all the games back in the day before they went out to see if there was any bugs, any problems, and to really just see if the game was any good. He was a great contact. There's loads of guys I won't mention, but they have been involved in this project. But Billy Mitchell was the main guy. He got us in contact with the chief executive at NOA. We were vetted, and this went on for about 6 months. Emails going backwards and forwards just to make sure that we were the real deal. And they basically invited us into Nintendo of America, me and Whitney, to see this cabinet that they'd kept, because according to them, they only made 12 Nintendo, and they were imported to the USA, and they destroyed 11, but they kept 1 in the vaults, and that was the one that was in the lobby all those years, and it had been in there for years, but then they've just thought, well, there's no more use for this, let's just put it in a warehouse, and there it was forgotten for years. A lost game. Yeah, it is a lost game. I've been corrected on this many times. Yeah, it is a lost game for many people. It's not a lot of people know about this game. It's as simple as that. And it wasn't until we went into Nintendo of America and saw this game for the first time that it was revealed to the world. Because before that, there was no information on this game whatsoever. So it was incredible that we got invited in there, me and Whitney. I couldn't go, obviously, because it was too expensive for me to go, but he went on my behalf, because we are a team project in this, and whatever we do, right or wrong, we do it together. And it was just amazing to see the first pictures coming out of Whitney's phone of the cabinet itself, because they brought it out of a warehouse where they have all the archives. I can't believe what's in this place, but they brought it out of this big warehouse into this white room, and there Whitney sat with this historian for probably about 7 or 8 hours while they let him scan the whole machine. He brought his scanner in there, he scanned the sides, he scanned the CPO, he took the bezel off, put it down on the table, scanned that. So we could basically get all the art files so we could recreate the cabinet. Now, Nintendo knew all of this. They knew what we were doing, and they allowed us to do this. They trusted us to do this. But they said to us, it is an unreleased game. They never released it because it didn't do well. They put it out on earns testing in Washington into colleges and places like that, where it was up against its big brother Donkey Kong, which had clocked the counter that made the company millions. And this just did not make money. It didn't fare well. And I think it's because the game is a little bit, it's not complicated, not from my eyes now, but maybe from a kid's eyes back then, it probably didn't make a lot of sense. So it just didn't make any money, so they just scrapped it. They never released it. It's as simple as that. And they destroyed 11 of the cabinets. Now, whether they destroyed all the PCBs, we'll never know. All they've said to us is they destroyed 11 of the cabinets, and they kept one. They kept the one that had the serial number 0001 on the back, so it was the first one ever made. Now, Nintendo might have made cocktails, we don't know. Still no pictures of them, no collectors have come forward, so as far as we are concerned, unless you out there who are watching this had a Skyskipper cocktail, they were never made. They never existed, you know? And we're only going on what Nintendo told us. So, with that in mind, with all the art files that we got out of NOA, we were able to give this to our artist, Ollie Cotton, who basically vectorised it all and just knitted it all together and just put a bit of the pop back into the colour, because there was a lot of colour missing out of the original cabinet. It had been in a window, so the side of the cabinet was all faded. So Ollie put all the colour back into it, and to be honest with you, the cabinet looked unfinished. Because it was unreleased, they probably didn't add the final detail to it. So what Ollie did was just add that little bit more detail and finish the cabinet off. And it is a beautiful cabinet. It's one of the most beautiful arcade machines I've ever seen, apart from obviously my Sheriff. But it is absolutely amazing. And looking at it with adult eyes now, it is a really good game. I really like it until you get to level 4, which I'll go into in a bit. But other than that, I really like the game. It's not for everybody. It's not a crap game. It's not a brilliant game. It's just an average game. But we're going to that. We're going to do a bit of gameplay. But before we do that, I'm just going to go over the whole cabinet, have a look a bit at the artwork, guys, so you can see. And we'll have a look inside the cabinet as well. Right, first I want to talk about the marquee, because the marquee in the beginning of the project really threw all of us out. There were images of a marquee on the internet, and that was actually the only image we had of Skyskipper, was someone uploaded a picture of the marquee with these pink clouds, and it just didn't seem right to have pink clouds. But sure enough, when we saw the original cabinet, they were drawn pink, but they don't match the bezel. The bezel, you see, has clouds, but they're all white, and they kind of get lost in the trails from the plane here. Would have made more sense to me to carry that pink throughout the whole bezel, but that's not how they've done it. This is how they did it. Pink clouds on the marquee and white on the bezel. I really like it though. I mean, the marquee really pops. It's really cool. But for me, if I was an artist, I would have drawn them all pink. It just would have made more sense. I really like pink clouds. Here you can see one of the gorillas here, the Kongs. Quite an aggressive looking Kong. For the first time they've drawn him with teeth. On Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong, he's drawn with his mouth shut, so you can't see any teeth. So he's quite aggressive looking. He's got his headphones on, and they attack in the game with their baseball and their balls. They're trying to shoot you down throughout the sky. And then down here you've got the instruction decal that some of the early Nintendo cabinets didn't have. Popeye didn't have an instruction decal here, and neither did Donkey Kong 3. But they did make an instruction decal for Skyskipper, and the one that we saw in NOA, half of it was actually missing. But we could just make out the royal flashes here. So Ollie just made this up, redraw these, and they look really good. Little detail there of the plane landing and refueling. And then as we move down to the CPO, again, to me, on first impressions, it looked unfinished with the white background here, because all the others, Donkey Kong Jr. has a blue and Donkey Kong has a red. It just seemed odd that they would do it white, but that's what they went with, and I think it looks really cool. Because all the colours here, they all stand out, really nicely drawn. And the instruction decal here of the characters there, the king, the queen, the joker, the animals and the enemy gorillas, depicted here with a baseball bat, and which they use to hit their balls to knock you out the sky with. And there you've got the points here for the royal flashes. So really nice detail, really nice colour, really stands out. And then moving down, like on the flyer, I've got a Japanese instruction decal of 100 yen for the coins. And here I have a coin door. It's actually a 2-slot coin door, which was given to me by Atari Tubin, which his father actually welded a plate over one of the coin mechs and made it into a single slot, because a lot of the early Nintendo games were just single slot coin doors. So I went with that theme, which was on the flyer. So moving round now to the side art, which is just amazing. If we can get it all in here, there's Mr. U at the top here, great big plane, covers the whole of the side of the top of the cabinet. There we've got the red font of Skyskipper, and it's kind of purple or blue up here, completely different on this side. Mr. U there, and the Kong with his headphones on. We've got the Hanafuda cards, Nintendo font here, which is, I don't think on any of the other cabs has this Nintendo written here. We've got the buildings and all the little characters here, the animals, the kings, the queen on her castle. It's just really lovely side art. It really does stand out, and that's why I keep this cabinet separate on its own. It's got the white flat T moulding, which all the early Nintendo cabinets have. So moving around now to the back of the cabinet. We can get round here, guys. I just want to show you the PCB which I've mounted in the back of the cabinet. It's a little bit dark, but it's all clean, all nice and tidy. Whitney helped me with that, all the wiring, which is good. So yeah, it's a beautiful cabinet, and on the back here it's got the serial plate. It's got the serial number 0014 TNX1. Okay, now the reason why it's 0014 is because they made 12 cabinets. We were honouring those, and these, me and Whitney's cabinets were made after the 12 that were made. So Whitney's is number 13 and mine is number 14. So we're just basically honouring the ones that were made. Okay. So that's it, a beautiful cabinet. Just stand back here so you can get a better view of it. Absolutely beautiful. Get a view of the other side. Well, now guys, when we first started this project, we never in our wildest dreams would thought that we'd get to this stage where we have original working Skyskipper board and a cabinet which has been scanned off the original arcade machine, the only one that's left in the world, and to have a replica that's almost identical. Now, the reason why we've got that is because Nintendo trusted us. They trusted us into their headquarters and trusted us with the files that we got from the original cabinet to use for this project alone and nothing else. We were told specifically not to monetize anything that we do out of this project, and we haven't, and we've stuck by that. I haven't made any money out of this. I mean, if you've taken into consideration all my flight trips and trips up to the north and the cost of this cabinet, I'm out of pocket. I haven't made any money, but I'm not in this hobby to make money. You'd be stupid if you think that. I love this hobby, and I love researching Nintendo as a company. Now, if we were to go behind Nintendo's back and start monetizing this art package, like selling it to the masses, and there's a lot of people out there that are going to want this artwork, and I can understand why. I mean, I wanted it, you know. I researched it though, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd get the original art files. But we owe it to Nintendo not to monetize this and not to mass produce this, because otherwise they're never going to invite people into their company. They're never going to share things with anybody in the future if they know that people are going to come in like a Trojan horse, steal their artwork, take it away, and then monetize it for their own gain. I mean, we don't do that. You know, I can't do that. I love Nintendo over anything else, okay? And I'm not going to do that. But what has happened since we started this project is the game has become a lot more well known, and more PCBs have turned up in the community because more and more people know about the game. They know what to look for. They know what the codes are. So at least 5 or 6 boards have turned up since we started this project, which I knew was going to happen, and that's good that more people have got this board. So what we are going to do, and we've spoken to Nintendo about this, and they've given us the go-ahead, because we had to go back again for a second visit to get the AOK from Nintendo that we could give those people that have the original boards access to their artwork, because it's not my artwork, it's Nintendo's artwork, and they have agreed to do that just for the people that have the original board sets. So that's where we're at. We are going to make 12 art kits to honour the 12 boards, or the 12 cabinets that were made, and any boards that turn up in that time, they will have access to that artwork. Any people after that will not. We're only making 12 boards, and that's because we have to honour what we said to Nintendo, what we set out to do in the beginning, and that was just to recreate the cabinet, the only one that was remaining. So that's where we are. And then we've had a lot of stick for that. I can take it, you know, no big deal to me. And since then, we have had some Trojan horses come into our group, because there is a Skyskippers owners group that have come in and been very sort of impatient. We offered them the artwork, and they decided not to go with that and go their own route in stealing some of the artwork from the files that Nintendo had given us and recreating their own custom art, which to me looks like Fisher-Price toy artwork to me. It doesn't look like this at all. But if that's what you want, Fisher-Price artwork, that's up to you. But it's not what we set out to achieve. We set out to recreate the original cabinet with the original board, and just to honour the 12 that were made. And we're going to stick by that. And Nintendo said they're fine with that as long as we don't do any more and we don't monetize it. So that's where we are. We're only doing 12 kits. And think of it what you like, but that's how it is. I don't owe anybody anything. It's not my artwork to sell. If you want to get your hands on the artwork, go and ask Nintendo. Knock on their door and do what we did and scan the arcade machine. But as far as we're concerned, we're doing exactly what Nintendo asked us to do, and that's it, and that's final. We've also had lots of other stick from other people. I've been called all sorts of names. Don't worry, I've seen it all. You know, I've got lots of friends in the community that sent me links to lots of things that people have said about me. Doesn't mean anything to me. They're just trolls on the computer. You know, they're not people face to face with me, because if you meet these people face to face, which I have done at the Cambridge Computer Museum, they're completely different. They're stum. They keep their mouth shut when you're right up in their face. They don't want to repeat anything that they've said on Facebook, because they know that they're confronted with the person that they slagged off on that Facebook page. And I don't think he will be saying anything more about me in the future after our last little confrontation. But that said, put all that aside, you know, it's been a fantastic project. I can count probably a handful of people out of the thousands of people who've congratulated us and given this the send-off that Skyskipper needs. So to me, it's just water off the back. I don't really care. So with that all said, guys, we're going to do a little bit of gameplay. Then after that, I just want to thank all the people that are involved in the project. And that's it. Done, dusted for another day. Till another project comes up. What I would love to see is a space launcher upright turn up. We're still waiting to see one of those. We know they did exist. They did make them, because we know a bezel turned up last year in France, but I'd love to see the full-size upright. I'd love to see someone out there with the love of Nintendo get hold of that cabinet. But anyway, without further ado, let's do some gameplay on Skyskipper. Right, here we go, guys. Terrible screen burn on my monitor. And you can see the sprites have still got the lines through them, which is really annoying. I wish I could get to the bottom of that problem. It's really frustrating, I can't solve that. So if you pick up 4 in a row, it shows you the top left-hand corner of the screen, your bonus, and what cards you've picked up. Now he's laying on top of that card, so I can't get it at the moment. He's blocking the card from jumping up, so you have to wait for the griller to wake up, move out of the way, then bomb, and then he'll jump up, see? Jump down here, whisk through him, get all the diamonds. Done it. Easy. Level 1, out of the way. Level 2. Right, so at the bottom of the screen, guys, you can see all the cards depicted. It's basically a map. It tells you which ones you've done on the screen. So as you pick them up, you'll see them slowly disappear. So if you get lost, You know which way to go. Pick the last ones up. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, should have waited. Now see that one's sitting on top of that heart there, I need to get that. Come on, out of the way. He's out of the way, that one comes up, drop down there, get that one. Get the jack. Get him out of the way. Ah! Oh. Oh no, I've got to bomb him again. Come on. It can be really difficult. Yeah, got that one. Nice. Bomb him. Come on, heart, jump up. Ah, oh, he's on top of him now. Can't get him. There he is. Got him. Last one done. It's level 2 done, guys. You recognise some of the music is quite familiar, very similar to Donkey Kong Jr. It says, "Damn it, I'll escape." That's quite an offensive word back in America 30, 40 years ago. You wouldn't believe it now, but I was going to attack the right hand side first. Go through here. I need to get him out straight away. He's on top of that green one, the club. I can't get to that club at the moment because he's on top of him. Come on, move out of the way. This is where I think the game's a little bit flawed. They just don't move around enough. Right, come on, jump up. That's it. Got him. He's done. He's quite a difficult one to get out of the way. One up here. And a joker. Oh, come on. Oh, I went through a cloud then. I didn't think you could do that. Oh! Oh, come on. I'm running out of fuel. Oh! I panicked because I was running out of fuel there. Try it again, attack this left hand side. It's really hard to aim the bombs sometimes, it just don't want to go in the way you want them to. Oh, that was close. Oh. Got him. Level 2 done. Sorry, that was level 3, wasn't it? So this is the last level now, guys. Level 4, I believe. Yeah, this is quite difficult. It's quite a big level. So I'm going to attack the... Now, I need to really sort the colour out on my monitor because the dark colours here are really hard to see. Oh. Oh. Getting bombed here, left, right and centre. Oh, how am I going to get that one? You just make out the brown blocks there. Oh man, this is hard. Got him. There's one more down the bottom here. Let's get that one. Right, he's out of the way. Let's go up here. Nicely done. Ah! Come on, I've got to do this level. Whoa, so tricky. So you pass through him there. If you couldn't do that, there's no way you'd finish the game. Oh, he's in this cage. Too late. I need to bomb him again. Get him out. So the game is flawed. It's not a perfect game at all. It seems to me that it's unfinished more than anything. Oh, there's one over there. He's going to come out. No, I need to bomb him again. There he goes. Got him. Oh, that was close. Oh, there's one down there as well. Let's get him. So I think I've got all of them now on the right hand side. Oh, it's annoying, you have to keep bombing them to get them to pop up. That was close. I'm running out of fuel. I'm not going to do it. Am I going to do it? Are they all down here? Done it! No, there's a club left. Where's the club? Where's the club? I can't find the club. Oh. It's a maze. Last plane, we've got to do this, guys. Level 4 is the last level. We've got to do it. The club is showing it on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I missed it somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, that was blinking close. There he is, down there, look. Got him. That's it. Level 4's done. So then we go back to level 1, and it does get a lot harder. Oh, hit a cloud and I'm out. Anyway, that's it, guys. Well, what did you think, guys? It's an average game. It's got its flaws. You can see why they didn't release it, especially with the success of Donkey Kong, what that had a lot to live up to. But I think, if it was released a year before Donkey Kong, it could have done a bit better. But it's certainly a lot better than Popeye, I think. That game, the difficulty level ramps up so quickly. This is a nice, steady paced game. I find it quite a relaxing game, but obviously it's got its flaws. But anyway, it's not about really the gameplay or how good the game is. It's just, for us, it was all about the history of it and the fact that it was an unreleased game. And I think it deserves a place now in the history of all the good Nintendo arcade games, I think anyway. So on that note, I just want to say thank you to a few people that were involved in the project, and then we'll wrap this video up. Jerry Momoa, who was playtester for Nintendo, he helped us out quite a lot. Billy Mitchell, obviously, for giving us the contacts into Nintendo of America. Atari Tubin for supplying the flyer and my coin door. Ben Foster for putting us in touch with the Swedish guy. Ollie Cotton for doing all the awesome artwork. John Porchy, who's helped us on the conversion boards and just been an all-round top bloke. Van Burnham, who wrote a fantastic article about the game in Retro Gamer, and of course Retro Gamer for letting her do that. The organisers of SFGE Preston, Andy at Arcade Club for the UK reveal, and James Brindle for getting John over here. Rich This Old Game, John Jacobson for documenting the video, which was absolutely awesome, and that's a video I'm always going to go back to and watch for the rest of my life. It's just something I remember, my special time over in America for the first time. And of course my good friend Whitney Roberts, who helped me with this project and has been the best partner and now my best friend for life. And of course we have to have a massive thank you for Nintendo itself, the company, because without them letting us into their vaults, we wouldn't have been able to get this far with the project. So That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be getting another one out very soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.